Boban Marjanović is one of many international players in the NBA, and he has made a bit of an impact on the rosters of many teams that he's been on, from the Spurs to the Clippers to the 76ers and currently the Dallas Mavericks. While he may not be the best player ever, he is a guy who has made a mark, and that's what matters in many cases. What do you really know about Boban Marjanović, though? Allow us to show you 10 untold truths about Boban Marjanović. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Number 10. He's number 10 all-time in height. If you were to take a measure at how tall Boban Marjanović is, you'd see that he stands 7 foot 4 inches tall, which easily makes him one of the biggest men in the NBA today. Though not the biggest, there is one taller than him currently in the league. But that also makes him one of the biggest NBA players of all time. In fact, he's number 10 of all time, which is saying something when you consider how long the league has been around and what legendary tall men have been in the league as well. His height, in turn, was part of the reason that he was drafted to the league, though it didn't exactly go as planned. After all, he's not exactly the biggest impact player in the league right now, which has led him to being a bench player and a role player most of his NBA career, as well as being bounced around from team to team as noted earlier. But if you were to look at where he was in Europe and Serbia before coming to the NBA, you'd see a very different player who dominated. How could that be? Rules. Specifically, the NBA has rules against just staying in one place, specifically in the paint, and thus Boban has to go and chase after players, which makes him not the best defender ever. Still, he's valuable in his own right, and that's why he remains in the league. Plus, his height and wingspan are so great he can do things like hold the ball up into the air, so even Anthony Davis, who is also mightily tall, can't grab it. Wow. Number 9. Basketball was not an option for him at first. Given his size, it's fair to think that just about anyone looking at him would want him to play in basketball, even if it was just so he could defend and block shots like NBA legend Manute Bol. However, it wasn't exactly the easiest thing to do in regards to getting into basketball. He grew up in Bolshevik, Serbia, a small town of 5,000 in the eastern part of the country. Soccer was the sport of choice among the children in Bolshevik until Marjanović was 12, and the local school began offering basketball. Obviously, everything clicked after that, but you almost have to wonder what would have happened if he wasn't able to do basketball until later. He would also follow a long line of players who have played other sports before getting into basketball and realizing that this was for him. Still, should he have gone pro on the soccer circuit and made it into the MLS, he would have been the tallest soccer player ever, which is a title we're sure Boban would have loved. Number 8. His size was something to adjust to for some. Many times, people just assume that being a tall person is a great thing, because you literally tower over others and you don't have to do certain things because of your large and long limbs. But it's anything but basic, even in the life of an NBA superstar. Marjanović has enormous feet, size 19 shoe, and hands. His standing reach of 9'7" eclipses those of Yao Ming, Wilt Chamberlain, and O'Neal, who are some of the biggest and the best to ever play the game. Plus, his 7'8" wingspan would have placed him third in the NBA during his initial season behind Utah's Rudy Gobert and New Orleans' Alexis Anyinka. Marjanović was so tall that members of the Spurs developmental squad that worked with him have to hold up oars to simulate shot blockers. Think about that. They had to go out of their way in order to make sure that they could at least attempt to help Boban grow as a player. Though this does raise another interesting question. Mainly, where did they get the oars? Number 7. He can dunk without jumping. Okay, so you might have honestly known this one, but it's important to note because, quite honestly, that really doesn't happen often. Because of his massive frame, along with how long his arms are, he can literally get a ball and dunk it without leaving the ground, which is obviously a huge boon in certain cases, and Boban is happy to entertain people by doing this. This is important because oftentimes people need to jump in order to dunk. Even LeBron James and MJ had to have good verticals to jump. But Boban? Yeah, he don't need it. He does sometimes jump a little, but most times it's not needed. What's good about this, though, is that a tall man's frame can often be hurt by dunks as the person slams back down into the ground after the jump. But for Boban, that's not an issue. Number 6, his hands inspired a Reddit thread. No, we're really not joking here. As noted, Boban is large in height, arms, and yes, his hands. His hands actually are bigger than anyone's in history, including Shaq, Yao Ming, and Giannis. But that comes with a downside, as you can obviously handle a ball well with those mitts. But when it comes to other things, not so much. His hands are so large that he honestly can't handle a cell phone of average size. Literally, he has to use an iPad as a phone because that's what's able to fit in his hands. Which brings us to Reddit, because Reddit not only loves Boban, they made a thread for him called Boban Holding Things, which is simply a thread of him going and holding various things and people being amazed at how small or insignificant they look when they're held by Boban. Reddit, what a place. Number 5, parents aren't tall. In terms of height, these are the 3 distinct ways to get super tall: genetics, luck, or a condition called pituitary gland disorder, where a glitch in your brain makes it so you don't stop growing for a while. Which one of those applies to Boban? Technically, it's luck. Though how he got that luck is unknown, mainly because his parents aren't that tall. The tallest of the 2 is 5'9", and the other is 5'6". His sister is much shorter than him, and Boban was confirmed not to have the pituitary disorder. So why this happened to him at all isn't clear. Though, if you listen to Boban, he's from another planet. Number 4, Boban and Novak. One of the reasons that people really like Boban is that he's honestly a really nice guy and someone who acts a bit like a child in certain aspects, which includes how he reacts when he meets certain idols of his. He is such a big Novak Djokovic fan. He has in his iPhone a shot of himself and the Serbian tennis star at a basketball game in Europe. It's a prized possession he proudly shows off. And if we're being honest here, why wouldn't he? Novak is one of the best tennis players in the world. If you get a chance to meet him, let alone take a picture with him, of course you'd show it off. Good on you, Boban.
Hello everybody, I'm Boban on the Boban, and welcome to the State Fair of Texas.
Boban.
Number 3, DJ in the house? Sticking with the funnier side of Boban, he is actually a big fan of rap. Believe it. Marjanovic has said he gravitated towards rap because a lot of people around me listen to it on the radio, so I like it the same. Beyond that, he said he just enjoys singing because it makes him feel good. But my singing is not so good, I think, he said. That's okay, Boban. You go and do what you do. Freestyle when you can enjoy it. You do you, man. Number 2, he was 6'10" at just 14 years old. The idea of a growth spurt is something that many NBA players, including Michael Jordan, have enjoyed during their early years in life, and even helped them become better players. But for Boban, it was more than that. Much more. At just 14 years old, he was already 6'10". Can you imagine being that young and yet being that tall? That must have been rough on him. Though, he made it work and began his basketball career. And remember, he's 7'4", so he still had 6 inches to grow before he was done. Number 1, player efficiency rating. This one might mess with your head a bit, but roll with us on this, okay? Among the many stats in the NBA, one that has showed Boban in a positive light is the PER, or player efficiency rating. It's a stat that looks at positive and negative parts of players' time on the court and then goes and rates them based on the minutes played to see how efficient they are. For Boban, he's one of the most efficient players ever. In fact, in 2018, he was ranked as the #1 most efficient player of all time because of what he would do in the limited time he would have on the court. So while he may not be an impact player and dominate games, when he comes in, you can honestly expect him to do really well. Just so you know, he's not #1 anymore. He's number 6, but that's still impressive. So what did you think? What did you think of this look at Boban Marjanovic and how he might be one of the most unique players to ever come into the NBA? Are you surprised by all the fan love he has gotten over the years? Are you a Boban Marjanovic fan? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.